Are an absolute mess right now. Now, most of us are under flood watch, but we do have this flood warning. So the watch was upgraded to a flood warning for this highlighted area that you see in the lime green. So from OB all the way to about Lakeside. So it runs pretty parallel to the 8 as well as parts of the 52. That's where it is coming down pretty heavily, and the San Diego River has reached flood stage. We are under a flood watch the entire county all the way through Friday morning. We are going to continue having the chance for thunderstorm activity, which is likely going to lead to heavy downpours in a short amount of time. Here are some of the totals that we've gotten so far since this morning. Pretty impressive amounts in the North County, especially in Fallbrook as well as Escondido. They got anywhere from about 0.6 of an inch to close to an inch in Fallbrook. And again, this is just the start of it. We haven't even yet seen peak activity. We're also tracking really strong winds. Coming up in my full forecast, we'll take a look at the timeline and we'll talk about the totals that we're expecting by the end of the day. All right, it is 11:02. Oh man, all of those hazard icons. That's where we are tracking several crashes. We have a couple hanging out with us on the 54 right where it intersects with the 125. So in the Spring Valley area, La Presa, we had a couple of crashes earlier involving big rigs as well as a rollover crash. And I'm actually going to toss it over to CHP Mark Latulip, who is at the CHP station, and he has more information about those crashes. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, so far we've gotten those crashes that you just spoke about actually out of lanes. So we have cleared those lanes. So we are still recovering traffic-wise. A lot of the spots, especially we had a few right here at the 805 and the 8 right on top of each other, very quick crashes. So we have cleared those. We have recovered at the moment. So my fingers are crossed for continued clearing these crashes out as quick as we can, and hopefully everybody stays safe today. I'm CHP Officer Mark Latulip with your 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
Mark, thank you so much. And right now, the North County is actually seeing some of the heaviest rainfall so far this morning. ABC 10 News reporter Moses Small is in Oceanside near a part of the 78 that saw flooding last week. Joins us live with an update on the conditions there right now. Moses.
Yeah, it is absolutely still wet. The rainfall is still coming down. The most recent totals from the National Weather show we've gotten about 1/10 of an inch of rain here over the past hour or so. But if you take a look around me, we're just not seeing the same type of intensity that we saw last week. Again, this part of the 78 between Jefferson Street and El Camino Real was closed off during last week's storm, and it is possible that could happen again, but the rain would have to start coming down much faster. Again, we have not seen flooding on this road yet, but we did see a rollover crash on the way over here. The California Highway Patrol says they're responding to many more accidents than normal around the county, and when you're out here, you get the sense that drivers are just feeling cautious after that last storm. Traffic moving pretty slowly no matter where you go, and you see a lot of spray coming off the cars in front of you, so visibility's down. The CHP says while we are not seeing as many accidents or quite as much rain as the last storm up to this point, conditions can still be dangerous.
The number one thing is slow down. That's going to save. We have what's called the 3-second rule, which in normal circumstances, you want to leave a 3-second buffer between the front of your car and the car in front of you. In the rain, we want to bump that to 6 seconds.
Just a reminder again to be careful, slow down out there. Both the wind and the rain could pose obstacles for drivers, and we have a flood watch in effect for the entire county that's going to remain in effect until tomorrow morning. Reporting in Oceanside, Moses Small, ABC 10 News.
And we want to bring it back down to the city of San Diego, where officials issued evacuation warnings to people who live in low-lying areas that flooded during last week's storm.
So one of the areas in that warning is South Crest, that neighborhood. That's where ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes is right now live, keeping an eye on water levels from nearby Choyas Creek, which caused Natay so many problems last week.
Yeah, Jared and Mel, good morning. As we are here, I can tell you within the last 15 minutes or so, it has started to come down here in the South Crest area. Now, as far as flooding goes, we're not seeing that right now. It looks as if just a muddy mess out here is what you can see. Large puddles in the road. And then as far as the storm drains, you can actually see a person here bending down to make sure that the area is actually cleared out so that water can freely flow down into the drain. Now, as we mentioned, this is one of the areas that are under that evacuation warning. And just to clarify, it's not mandatory, but people are encouraged to leave their homes if they see flooding. Now, I spoke to a neighbor who says almost everyone along Beta Street here in the South Crest has left their homes, but there are a few who are still bracing the storm.
I still feel bad for the neighbors that are still living here. There's a couple of them still on the other side of the block that haven't evacuated. So it's just kind of worried about them now.
Now, that was Jesse Preciadio. He says he has lived in South Crest for more than 35 years. He says he's been actively checking on the neighbors who are still here, but the city is not taking any chances. Yesterday, the mayor issued that evacuation warning for the low-lying areas that flooded on January 22nd. This includes South Crest, Mountain View, Encanto, San Ysidro, Serena Valley, and Mission Valley. Now, the city says it will have swift water rescue teams in the area. We just saw one actually pass through here moments ago, and Police Chief David Nislight was here this morning taking a look at the area along with other officers patrolling. Now, should a mandatory evacuation be issued, officers will go door to door to make sure people are out of their homes. The city has set up a shelter in Balboa Park at the municipal gym. Lincoln High School is also available, and the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA is providing people with free showers, mental health services, and other resources. But back out here live, you can see again, it is just pretty much a muddy mess. The water seems to be flowing down the storm drains, but the city says it will be providing transportation to the Balboa Park location via United Taxi Workers. This information will be posted on our website along with all the other information that we just mentioned this morning, but we will continue to keep an eye on this area. Live in South Crest, Nate Holmes, ABC 10 News.
Now, we are starting to see flooding in some parts of the county. Some roads in the South Bay especially have water already flowing over them. ABC 10 News reporter Danny Miskell is live in San Ysidro. Danny, you've seen one car already get stuck.
Hi, Jared. It's actually getting towed right now. Let's go ahead and turn your attention over here to the right. And here's the car that was just stuck for hours in the flood waters here on Hollister Road. We know this area is prone to flooding. But you know what? The bigger issue here is that everyone knows this water is also contaminated. The flood on Hollister Road is residual. SDPD and even horse owners I spoke to on this road says that this happens all the time. But you know, we've still seen a lot of agencies out here responding to this situation. Besides SDPD, we've seen city crews. The California Border Protection was just down here. Wildlife Patrol just showed up, and the San Diego Fire and Rescue crew were out here too. When they were, I got a chance to speak with Lieutenant Romero about what he's wanting San Diegans to be mindful of through this storm.
You're driving, you see water. It looks, maybe I could make it, but the car didn't make it this morning. And that's kind of how it goes. People are just going in and then getting stalled out and then calling for help. So don't drive in the water, especially at night. It's even harder to see at night. So just don't do something. You don't have to out drive, just don't drive right now.
We're expecting with this rain coming in to see a lot more runoff, meaning the water is going to move a lot faster this time around. And it's largely to do with the fact that the ground is already saturated from last Monday's storm. So they're prepared, they've upped their staff, and he says that they're not expecting this storm to be as bad as last week's. And back out here live, all the water rising down here is flooding out of the Tijuana River Valley. So the key roads that they're going to be monitoring is Saturn Road, Dairy Mart Road, Hollister, and the area by the trolley. Live in San Ysidro, I'm Danny Miskell, ABC 10 News.
Danny, thank you. And the weather is also contributing to some power outages. We will take an in-depth look at what's happening in the county right now and when power might return.
And Orange County is taking some steps to protect train service between there and San Diego. What they did ahead of this storm to prevent another landslide in San Clemente.